The Na does well into the K'Sante alone, so maybe Ground Zero want to get that Corki into him. But this Yone is just winning both ends of the side lane. No matter who he's against, he's going to feel completely fine. And it does start to feel to me like this game kind of needs to get out of control in favor of Ground Zero early on to get a win here. And, you know, Brand will be clearing the jungle faster than the Amumu, and he can be out on that map more active than the Amumu early on. And I think Schönfire, he's going to have to find the angle to utilize that fact to really get Ground Zero on the board early and snowballing this game in their advantage.
Speaking of that, that might actually be a shorter window than you would think, because these first clears for Brand are actually very slow. I'm not sure if he'll even clear at least the first quadrant, might not even be faster than Amumu. So he has a short window once he's got the Faded Ashes before...
Oh, Fido. That's flash lost. And I think I know where Elam's going to look for a gank first.
Yeah. I'd still be surprised to see Elam do anything but rush level 6, but he is taking the Brand's jungle here, it looks like.
Yeah.
So this could be very scary with Schönfire, considering how low you're going to get clearing this first quadrant alone as Brand. Crossing the river now into the Gnar, who's going to have priority against your K'Sante, gets pretty scary.
Okay, this is very smart by Ground Zero, though. Just immediately shoving this bot lane in.
Yeah,
now they're not going to be able to stop the Raptors, but they are going to make sure that Elam can't continue on and take any more of that bot side jungle. So Kurek, you know, he's staying around, making sure those Krugs aren't being done, and Elam realizing that this bot lane has just got utmost priority is going to back off. So they do defend successfully the majority of Schönfire's bot side jungle, and I think very smart move there by the bot lane of Ground Zero to recognize what's going on and play against it accordingly.
Yeah, ultimately should be okay for Schönfire, even if he doesn't get anything back for the Raptors that he's lost. Does have the option to go swipe Amumu's Raptors now, because Amumu's spent so much time walking around. We'll see if he goes for that yet. He's going to walk over to the enemy Raptors and pick those up quickly.
Yeah.
Should be a very quick camp for a Brand to do.
One thing we didn't touch on is it's going to be the Ghost on K'Sante this game. So it's obviously what we used to see K'Sante's take every single game.
Yeah.
It's sort of fallen out of priority after the nerf came through to the Ghost. Obviously a higher cooldown and a shorter time on it. Yeah, Jet looking aggressive. There goes the Valkyrie. Able to dodge out his Fido, but he's still going to take a large chunk of damage. Now Schönfire is here. Can they trade it back onto Elam? No, nice bandage toss.
Whoa. That stun so close to hitting Elam. Don't often see the bandage toss used as an escape.
Yeah, I kind of forgot you can.
Yeah.
Until I just saw that. Nice by Schönfire, though, to be there to try and trade back there, but Elam just a little bit too quick.
Yeah, even just having to use that Valkyrie on Fido now, look at his mana.
Yeah.
It is your biggest problem against these, the likes of the Yone, because he's got no mana himself and is just trying to sustain through this lane. This has just set up Jet for success in this game. He's going to have such a breeze in this laning phase.
Yeah, and this is usually where the Corki punishes the Yone too, so does it not bode well here for Fido, but, you know, there's more lanes, and you look at it, Bot is doing well for themselves. They are constantly keeping priority. Not that it's going to lead to anything just yet. It does definitely ensure Schönfire is able to pick up at least the bottom crab here, but Elam, you know, he responds in kind. He'll be able to get that top crab.
Yeah, the good thing about the Corki is you maybe don't feel that much pressure to punish the Yone earlier. Yes, his mid game is going to be much stronger than yours, but you do still outscale on the Corki massively. So there's always the fallback of scaling, but after we've talked about the comps being so favored towards Sengoku, that might not be that valid of an option for Ground Zero.
Yeah, I think the outscaling point is a little bit of a weird one though, right? Because Yone will still be stronger in that side lane, as well as with the correct setup is going to be much more impactful in team fights. You know, he can just wombo combo with the rest of his team, and that is what Sengoku have built for. Their entire team comp. Yeah, their entire team comp is made for a wombo combo, but they also have that additional value that this Yone is just winning both side lanes.
Fido getting another visit.
Yeah, Gang now here. Does have flash available. Fido, though, going to have to use that Valkyrie. Does get stunned up, and he's not going to go down, but does take a chunk of damage. Trades evenly, but ultimately, again, that's the Valkyrie used.
Yeah, so much mid proximity for Sengoku. Makes sense when the enemy mid is playing flashless.
Yeah, Fido, he's 3/4 of the way through that cooldown now, though, so getting closer to feeling a lot safer, as he also does have that cloth armor working towards those early Ninja Tabbies that we always see Corki picking up now.
Yeah, lots of base stats, and good wave clear on this champ means that you can just build so defensively early game and still be fine.
I think it's also smart from Sengoku to spend time even with your support around that top side, because, I mean, sorry, mid lane, because considering what we saw in their first series, it does seem like, you know, Yuhi is just more of a facilitator facilitatory AD carry.
Yeah, and this is a great meta for him. If he can pick things up like the Jhin and the Ashe, maybe a scuffle in the mid lane. Shrimpfire's got himself a little XP advantage, as you'd expect.
Oh, the flash forward, Alum connects, and the Fate sealed. Fido's going to go down. That looked like a max range bandage toss, and while Fido does react very quickly, it's not quick enough. Shrimpfire gets that flash out, is going to keep himself alive. A disaster here in the mid lane for Ground Zero.
Yeah, and almost worse than Fido going down. They commit so much to take Fido down. Is Shrimpfire scary? This could get quite scary for the side of Sengoku because they don't have a massive amount of damage in this comp, right? If this Jhin is falling, 30 CS behind and falls an item behind, then, you might be struggling to actually kill people with all this CC you've got.
I think they have enough damage. The Mumu building Leandries, and there's going to be a bunch of damage coming through for Gnar as well as, the Yone and the Jhin.
Shrimpfire, absolute swipe on the Void Grubs there, I think, taking advantage of how much time was committed towards his mid laner.
And hasn't been traded yet, so it is a positive trade there for Ground Zero, and despite all the pressure and the loss of Flash level 1 mid, the gold lead is not out of hand. They are doing well. Tien's doing a fantastic job here, remaining even with the Gnar. It's not something that is easy by any stretch of the imagination, and Lemus, slowly but surely, as we've expected from him, is getting himself a slight CS advantage in that bot lane. And, we've said it before, the scaling for both teams completely fine, but in isolation, you take the Zeri in a late game team fight over Jhin 10 times out of 10. This champion hits 5 champs all at once. It does immense damage. It's very safe. We saw what Arya was able to do on it yesterday. And Lemus, he is a very skilled player. You expect he's going to be able to do the same.
This should just be the Dragon 4 Ground Zero. Shrimpfire level 6 already. I think they should even contest this blue if they get a chance to. This Amumu is very weak pre-6 relative to the brand.
Yeah, but right now it's also going to be Fido that's much weaker than Jet. Flash, the Zenith Blade does connect. The stun up, Kurak, he does not have access to ult. He hasn't moved in the past month and a half, and down he will go. Now Shrimpfire going aggressive, and Jet's going to go down. Fido finds that isolation kill there on the top side off the blue buff, and it's a 1-for-1 trade as Shrimpfire is going to have absolute free reign over these bot side camps.
Yeah, and what starts is essentially just a 2v4. Ground Zero almost win the fight. Initially, Fido's able to pick off Jet there and even up his mid lane now.
Yeah, and look at Lemus. Lemus, he wasn't able to find any contribution on the kill, but he's just got himself 2 plates. He's up 20 CS in this bottom lane.
And we're just going to see the play here. It's an engage onto the Alistar, not 6 yet, so seems like a viable target, but look at Shrimpfire free hitting in this fight. You almost wish you could go on the flashless Shurn, and terrible Jhin ulti.
Yeah.
Doesn't contribute anything to the fight. Dragon picked up for Ground Zero. Amazing start for them.
Yeah, that was one of possibly the worst Jhin ults of all time.
Yeah, well, I think he expected Ground Zero to run, not recognizing just how strong they actually were.
Yeah. And I think well done by Ground Zero to realize that was actually a winning trade after Kurak had gone down. It's not easy to, lose your support for very minimal amounts of resources and still realize it's a winning trade. So have to applaud them for finding that. And I'm very excited to see Lemus is back because he, at least in my mind, should be the strongest champ in the game right now. Very close to Static Shiv, I dare imagine.
Can also just hang out here for as long as he wants. His HP and mana are so high. There's no dragon coming up that he's going to have to contest with his team.
Yeah.
He's going to channel his recall now, so you imagine he has some good recall. Half HP gone on the spot tower too, and I don't think they've gotten enough in the mid lane for Sengoku to justify this.
No, I completely agree. I think Ground Zero now, they are down 100 gold, but ultimately I think they're in a winning position. Only really, though, for the AD carry, I think for now it has to be said that right now it's Lemus that does have the tools to be able to get this one done.
Yeah, and who else do you want it on this Ground Zero lineup?
It's only Lemus so far.
And credit to Thien. This entire game, his wave has just been frozen in front of his tower. He's just putting on a clinic on how to play engagement.
Correct. Going to be able to find that pulverized headbutt even. And now we do see Gang stuck on that tower. Solar Flare comes out, but going to miss out on Shrimpfire, who didn't even have the flash. It's just a clean sidestep. He's turned around on, though. That Q3 from Jet not going to find much as Alan's bandage toss only just missing.
Yeah, had ulti up on that Amumu. That could have been a little bit scary.
That is the difference between going on an Alistar at level 5 versus level 6. Correct. Gets engaged on and takes about 100 damage, but Lemus here in that bot side, he's picking up another 2 plates. He's possibly going to get a third and the first blood tower. And how immensely far ahead is this Zeri?
Yeah, he is going to kill this and probably recall for his full item if he wants to.
Yeah, the wave's even going to pretty much all but die, although another one now.
So that was a 4v3 loss.
Yeah.
In the mid lane.
Yeah, Gang not finding an ideal timing there as Sengoku is not going to be all for naught. They are going to be able to pick up 3 of these Void Grubs. But definitely, I mean, Lemus, pretty much this 2k gold lead alone, sitting with him in that AD carry position. And day and night is it seeing Lemus on the Ashe, on the Zeri versus on the Seraphine. And that's not a critique of his play, but just how Ground Zero are able to play this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Conqueror plays out. Yeah, there's a static shiv on Lemus. How the Conqueror plays out in the late game, mid and late game, because usually it's taken for the lane phase on this Zeri. And
yeah, I mean, otherwise it's just a fleet. I think this is much better.
Yeah, it should be better.
The Adaptive Force, you use both the Adaptive Force stats as well.
Yep, good AP, decent AP ratios on the Zeri. Leandri's finished now for Surenfire. He's very strong himself. Really only the Corki in a power trough right now for the side of Ground Zero.
Lemus, fantastic
look at him.
Range knowledge, but he has to be careful. Has the cleanse and the flash. Don't really want to use them, especially considering 1.5 minutes is likely going to be a dragon fight.
Yeah, have to figure out these lane assignments if they do want to fight for the dragon on the side of Ground Zero. They don't want Lemus up here if their plan is to stack these dragons. Yeah,
and it has to be said right now, while Ground Zero should be favored to win this game, I mean, they've got themselves in such a commanding position. One immaculate engage coming through from Sengoku, and they are just going to get completely one-shot. The entire team will pretty much die all at once.
This is a psycho push by Lemus. He has none of his teammates behind him. He has Surenfire coming now. And where will Ground Zero take this ADC? Maybe they'll just leave him top and prioritize gold on the Zeri over the dragon stacking. I don't hate it.
Yeah, maybe you can just get this one more wave and then head back. He's going to complete the cull with that wave, probably get himself one more of these tower plates. There's 3 members up here, and yeah, Ground Zero, they're just focusing on these towers. They don't really care about the dragons, and ultimately they're in a position that they could possibly even get the win before a Dragon Soul really even comes to fruition.
Yeah, this is an unreasonable amount of gold this early in the game to go onto your Zeri. Surenfire has to be careful for the Leona ulti here, but...
And look at gold. Yuhi somehow, with the least gold in the game, excluding the supports.
Yeah, has just been abandoned in the bot lane most of this game. Engage on.
Yeah, Kurak going to be going aggressive onto Gang, and that's another kill going to be coming through here, almost certainly for Lemus. He does have to use that cleanse, but you're going to be happy with that. Ultimately, as one taken down, that is the lightning crash, so Lemus going to be in a bit of a power trough, and Kurak doesn't care. He's just going to go aggressive here. It's just going to be a little bit of a chunk and nothing more than that. But Lemus back to this top lane. 5 more tower plates, and another tower going to be claimed almost certainly by this Zeri.
I think he's gotten just about every plate on his own. Oh, this is...
Oh, Elham's actually cancelling out that headbutt pulverize combo and makes it out somehow. Surenfire's going to be going down. So he's 1 kill traded back. Even the ultimate committed there. But what an ultimate, actually, out of Elham there. Cancelling the combo.
Yeah, I never even thought about that interaction between the Alistar and Amumu as a...
All 10.
Might have a kill here.
Yeah, all out. And Kanatu finds himself in a horrific position. He's going to have to flash away. He does manage to do so, and Tien not going to be able to follow through any further. Obviously, with that ghost, no way for him to get over that wall, but Tien somehow finding the 1v1 side lane win here on the Cassante.
Yeah, and I mean, the Gnar counterpick so far has failed completely to shut down this Cassante. He has garnered some sort of CS lead for himself, but now without the flash on the Gnar, loses so much agency for these coming fights.
So the Gang going to have his recall stopped as Sengoku didn't manage to find an angle to pick up this dragon while everyone
look at the ADC
top.
items.
Yeah, 2 items.
2 items to nothing. To a slingshot on the Jhin.
Yeah, and it's essentially 4 melee champs, so, you know, we usually have 3 melee champs as the threshold for Runans being good. You're dealing with 4, well, I guess 3.5.
Yeah, and all these champs go in strictly one direction on the side of Sengoku. It is just 4 guys diving with the Jhin ulti to back them up. And if they don't execute extremely cleanly and play around the Zeri cleanse, they are just going to get one-tapped.
And looking at the kill scores, you'd expect Jet to be the strongest member of the, well, strongest champion on the Rift, but, I mean, 10 tower plates picked up by Lemus, 2 towers, and, I mean, more CS than anyone else. He is feeling amazing. Yeah, and he is truly in a position to just carry this, as he was on that Ashe in their first game up against J-Team as well.
Yeah, Dragon picked up. No you know, no protests at all from Sengoku. What can they do to stop it? They have to just, if you're the side of Sengoku, you have to kill this Zeri somehow now.
Yeah, and they do have the tools. They have access to their backline. If Lemus gets caught in the time that he doesn't have his cleanse up, you know, and a Moonwalk can find him, it can be a very disastrous fight. And ultimately, you know, if the Zeri is dead, it's probably a losing fight.
Yeah.
For Sengoku, unless it's traded. If they are able to trade kills, then it's probably okay still. They do have that Triforce now available for Fighto, and he has found himself at a position of strength. As well as, you know, Schönfire on the brand is always going to have some say in these team fights. But here comes the teleport, here comes everything, and Jet's not in a great position, but somehow it's going to be Alum finding that bandage toss, but Lemus dodges out of it. The lightning crash, 1, 2, he's looking for a third. The all-out coming through from 10. He doesn't want a triple kill here for Lemus, but Lemus is trying to get it. 10 will secure that one. It's another clean team fight. 3 for 1, and Ground Zero are looking hot.
Yeah, Lemus uses his flash in that fight to make it out of the Amumu ult. He thought he could get onto him while he didn't have cleanse, but Lemus wisely flashing away. Good reaction from him, and picks up his 3rd tower of the game. And is just looking to take over. I think Ground Zero have just won this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing the relative strength here of Ground Zero just be better than that of Sengoku. I think all the pieces of the puzzle, the draft, certainly in favor of Sengoku, but it's just the hands gap, the player gap, that Ground Zero find themselves at such an immaculate and almost unprecedented lead.
Gang just going way too early here with no one to back him up. Elm still manages to find an angle onto backline, but also has no one to back him up. This Yone just dies so quickly. You have only melee threats, really, against this Zeri, who's just putting out too much damage.
Smile on the face of Fido there. And if I was him, I would be smiling too.
Yeah, he did a great job this game, just absorbing pressure. Went down once in the mid lane after, you know, 50 ganks on him, and they committed 3 flashes to take him out. Didn't even get his flash. As a Rift Herald now picked up for Ground Zero.
Yep, 5k gold lead. They've got that dragon stacking on their side. They've got the Rift Herald now to claim some of the standing gold, and they've got a free pick onto Kanaku. But here comes the teleport. Jet trying to trade back, but it's way too late, and now it's a 3v1. As another teleport comes through, this is going to be Tien rocking up to the play. There's an aggression play from Jet. He's trying to find the kill onto Schönfire. He might just be able to fight it, but
no way.
Schönfire denies it by getting into that Rift Herald. What a play!
Yeah, it looked like he actually dodged the reactivation of the Yone damage by hopping into the Rift Herald.
And forklift certified.
Yeah, now they're going to pick up the tier 2 top, and I think Ground Zero are just running away with this game.
Yeah. Certainly fixing up all the kinks that we saw in that latter half of their series earlier on in the week, and they are looking completely unstoppable.
Fido has a long way to run here, but it really is only LM. I'm not sure Amumu wins this one.
Yeah, and an inner tower solo for Lemus. I mean, he is going to have his 3rd item now.
Yeah, well, Fido picked up one for himself too. These carries are just too massive from the side of Ground Zero that having this all-in comp from Sengoku this far behind, just, it doesn't really feel playable. You see the Yone getting one shot in these fights on his way in.
Yeah. It's just a far higher level of play coming through from the LCO first seed. Ultimately, that's what it sort of does just come down to, and I think Lemus with a smart pickup here, getting that shield bow, is going to make him near on impossible to truly take down. Schönfire no flashes, vulnerable.
Oh, correct. Barely dodging out that Amumu Q. He did have teammates close by, so might have been okay with the Alistar ulti anyway.
Now, this is something we don't usually see from our Amumu, from 665, is looking like a Warmog second. Generally, 665 just picks up a Zeke's Herald, whatever it is called. Yuhi engaged on Makurak, but he is completely safe. Only Alistair can be there, and Yuhi free hitting, but it is just a Jhin. Elm finds his way into Lemus. Elm found it. Oh no, it's a disaster. And down will go that 80 carry, all your gold. Jet still playing fanatically. He is going to go down eventually to Schönfire with the curtain call. Can they find this brand? It doesn't look like it. Ultimately, yes, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but so much gold off the map here for Ground Zero as Lemus is found caught lacking and Alum has turned the game around.
How has Elam done that? Lemus played that fight absurdly safely. He was letting Kurak tank every member of Sengoku, playing super far back, waiting for his team to arrive. Watch where Lemus is playing this fight. Elam still manages to get onto the Zeri somehow. They know where he is too, and he still just finds his way onto Lemus.
Oh!
Ridiculous max range bandage toss, and the rest of Sengoku very impressively actually just assemble on top of the Zeri. And you kind of wish you got more if you were Sengoku, but at this point, it's not like the other members of Ground Zero are exactly weak. You see how much damage Fido is doing, how much damage Surenfire is doing.
And now this Baron did get aggroed up as Tien tries to take down those wards. Doesn't need to, that pink ward did stay alive. But Kanatu picking up that shutdown. A reasonably big injection of gold.
Yeah, we'll be working towards his Black Cleaver, making him more of a side lane threat. Later on, Sengoku just running it down mid, as you probably just want to ARAM with this kind of comp.
Yeah, I mean, they can choose to side lane, but I think the problem is they're just so far behind that any engage that Kurak finds is probably a winning one. You know, excluding what exactly happened last fight. But now Lemus has that flashing cleanse available. Yeah, so even if you land that bandage toss, it probably doesn't matter. I mean, Lemus, ultimately, he can just cleanse, flash away, and he should be completely fine. And it's, I mean, the chances of hitting a bandage toss like that ever is not particularly high.
Yeah, and you have to find a way to blow Lemus's at least his cleanse without losing the game, which honestly just seems challenging for this kind of all-in comp that Sengoku have. You kind of have to lose at least one member to get this guy's cleanse off of him. Baron started up. Yeah,
started up. It's going to be taken down extremely fast with just how fed Lemus and Fido currently are. It's almost down to half HP, and Jet's going to have to look for a teleport. He does have it available, of course, as Curtain Call will be coming through. Now, Alum on the side. He is being marked here by Kurak, and Kurak got to keep this Amumu out away from his carries. He's doing a good job so far. Kanatu, though, he does have that Meganar coming up, and Jet's on a flank. This Baron, it is going to be stopped. Ground Zero peel away from it as Kurak actually did lose half his HP in health. They're all grouped. They have to be careful. One engage could be a disaster, but Kanatu losing out now of that Meganar means that this team fight lost a lot of strength for the side of Sengoku Gaming.
Yeah, but advantage Sengoku on that play overall. Ground Zero chose to make that play while they had a giant wave crashing into their bot tower. They will just go for the dragon now, and I think Ground Zero just need to reel it in. They had an opportunity, I think, to end this game very quickly, but that ship has sailed with how long they've taken to take this dragon and giving up the shutdown from Lemus. So they need to just slow it down, go back to their side lanes, and remember how strong Corki and Zeri will be, even if this game slows down and goes a little bit later.
Yeah, side lane just became a whole lot harder for Tien as we do see that Black Cleaver now finished up here for Kanatu on the Na. Much less strength for the Yone. I mean, sorry, not the Yone, for the Cassante. A lot of strength for the Yone. Shield bow now picked up, but still it is Exodia here on your screen. Lemus on this Zeri.
Yeah, speaking of Exodia, Tien can actually get pretty terrifying this game with how much armor he's going to be able to build. This Amumu is not going to build any more AP than this Liandry's. Gnar does a little bit of AP, has the Black Cleaver to shred armor, but he's going to be unkillable for this Jhin, certainly.
Yeah, but the Yone also doing a lot of magic damage, also has the Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, probably forced to go Jackshow anyway this game.
I think Jackshow would be a good item in Cassante's build here, but Baron going to be once again started up as this time it's Kanatu. He picks up an objective bounty on the bot side, and he does have teleport, similar to Jet last game.
Low on rage.
But correct, this time he's out of the pit. He's not going to be in the pit. There's a nice little scrying all there to make sure they see the vision here, but Lemus has found his way onto the backline. Knew he's going to be able to get on out of this engagement. It is a trade, though. The support does go down. It's a 4v5 now as Jet going to have to commit that Fate Seal. Does get himself out of that pit, and that's so much team fight prowess gone. That Yone ult, there's no way he's getting onto that backline, but in the meanwhile, they are almost certainly going to pick up this Baron as Kurak making sure to mark where Alum is. No chance of a steal. It is the bot side, though. You see, Kanatu, he's already got 2 towers, and now he's getting to work on the third. We have to recall, and it is going to be the recalls coming through, but the third tower is going to go down, and now there is a gaping hole in the base of Ground Zero.
Yeah, at least Sengoku gets something there, but in this team fight, we saw what Ground Zero need to be winning. need to be doing to win these fights, whether they're even or ahead. They split up the members of Sengoku, and the pieces of this comp do not work individually. And really nice flash from Kurak onto both the bot laners of Sengoku.
Okay, I hate the Samumu build less now. We have a Randuin's through, does well into, of course, the Corki and the Zeri, so...
Yeah, I like that. Makes sense.
But I mean, you know, Shunfire, while having a quiet game relatively so far, he is getting his items online.
He's built every component in the game.
Yeah, having a garage sale.
That's an interesting approach to the item build from Shern.
Yeah, I think, like, honestly, just going more damage would be nice, but a lot of CC coming. Yuhi, no flash. He did use it in that prior engagement, and down he will go, I think, though. Maybe Lemus, a bit too trigger-happy on that ult. That is a lot of power now taken away from the Zeri, but with this Baron buff, they are going to be able to keep on pushing, and you see Jet in that side lane, going to have to teleport back. Ground Zero, they take out this mid lane inhib tower. They're going to take out this mid lane inhib. How much further can they go? They're now looking to this bot lane that Ken has prepared for the rest of the team. This is certainly going to be the tower going down and the inhib, as Yuhi still has 20 seconds left on his respawn. Will Ground Zero try and press the issue? It doesn't look like they will. And I think Wisely are going to back out. It is very difficult for them to find a true engage in the base of Sengoku.
Yeah, 2 inhibs taken like it's nothing by Ground Zero. And I think now this game is just over. I think Ground Zero just group 5 people top and run it down.
It may be 4. Maybe 4 people top.
Yeah, use the TP if you have to.
No, I think just having the pressure, like, you know, the minions coming into the base makes it so difficult to defend.
Yeah, just have someone buffing up the rest of the waves.
There's a minute left on this Baron as Ground Zero are deploying out to this top side. They are going to look for that vision in the jungle before truly committing to trying to take out this last remaining hope of defense for Sengoku. They do have a big team fight comp though, so one good engage. Lemus, no cleanse. It's important to note because we saw what could happen.
Yeah, with these comps, you'd really rather fight in this jungle rather than your base.
QSS actually, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, really smart pickup. Good itemization all game from Lemus.
Down will go that Banshee shield. This is the last inhibitor. 30 seconds left on this Baron. Do Sengoku look for the fight? It looks like they are, but Jet's going to be found out on the side, and Tien does have to lose that all out. Jet might be able to get the opportunity to get back to his base, but Kanato now going into that Mega Gnar, and this third inhib getting taken out. Lemus just free-firing onto it as Kurak's in the middle of everyone, and Lemus, so it's these 2 carries! It's a 3-man fate sealed, but it doesn't even matter. Lemus is going ape shit in the base. That is a triple kill. That is the game. It is going to be Ground Zero, that first seed of LCO, taking the first game of the series.
Yeah, and you cannot ignore Lemus is the lesson we have learned today. You cannot give him this much gold and expect to have any hope of winning these fights. Even Fido managing to have a game for himself after the start. And just a complete outclass by Ground Zero in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It just looked like 2 different tiers of teams, right? The Ground Zero, Fido, he struggled in the early game. He lost that flash level 1 and was truly punished by just how much pressure he absorbed. And he had to absorb it all. He died only once. But in the meanwhile, it was Lemus down on that bot side. It was a 2v1 because Kurak wasn't really roaming. He was looking for vision, making sure no one's coming. But Lemus has taken 2 plates while all this pressure's going on mid. He ends up taking a tower. He goes top, gets 5 more plates, gets another tower. And this guy just had so much gold. And I think, you know, so much committed here to Jet to try and get him ahead. And they did not find what they needed to compare to the power that Lemus found.
Yeah, they did get Jet ahead, right? He got a bunch of kills, but it just wasn't nearly as much gold or as efficiently as Ground Zero were funneling resources into Lemus. Ground Zero didn't